That sleek pair of high heels by your front door, sparkling, sharp, and totally made for turning heads, has a backstory that's way tougher than you'd think. 400 years ago, those same elevated souls weren't gracing red carpets or office lobbies. They were on battlefields, in royal palaces, and strapped to the feet of men who thought nothing of riding into war or ruling kingdoms in them. Let's rewind this fashion timeline and see how a military tool became a style staple with a few wild detours along the way. Our story begins in 16th century Persia, where warfare was all about speed, skill, and staying on your horse literally. Persian cavalrymen were some of the best riders in the world, but they had a major problem. Their leather boots kept sliding off the metal stirrups during battle. One wrong slip and you'd be tumbling into a sea of enemy swords. Not ideal. Then someone had a genius idea. Add a block of wood to the back of the boot, 3 to 5 centimeters high, just enough to catch the stirrup and lock the foot in place. Suddenly, riders could lean into their horses, swing their swords, and charge into combat without fear of slipping. These weren't fancy, they were functional, rugged, and absolutely essential for survival. Fast forward to the 1590s, when Persian envoys traveled to Europe to meet with kings and nobles. They arrived in their military finery, heels included, and European courts lost their minds. "What are those?" they whispered. "Where can we get a pair?" Soon, European noblemen were begging for their own, versions less for battle, more for bragging rights. If there's one man who turned heels into a power move, it's Louis XIV of France, a king, who ruled for 72 years and had a very specific obsession, being taken seriously. Problem was, at 1.54 meters tall, he felt overshadowed by his courtiers. Solution? Heels. Big ones. Louis didn't just wear heels, she weaponized them. He declared that only members of the royal family could wear red-soled heels, making them the ultimate status symbol. The higher the heel, the closer you were to the king. His personal pair? A whopping 10 centimeters, like 17th century platform shoes, decorated with gold leaf and tiny portraits of his victories. Commoners caught copying? They'd face fines, or worse. Suddenly, European men were strutting around in heels like they owned the pleasables, soldiers, even artists. Heels meant you were wealthy, you could afford the custom craftsmanship, powerful, you didn't need to do manual labor, and totally in on the trend. For a century, men in heels were the height of masculinity. By the 1700s, women were watching this heel craze and thinking, wait a minute, those things make legs look longer, and that walk? Kind of glamorous. So they started borrowing their husbands' and brothers' heels, then redesigning them to fit their own style. Gone were the clunky wooden blocks women, added silk ribbons, lace trim, and even tiny jewels. They made heels slimmer, more elegant, perfect for gliding across ballroom floors. Men scoffed at first, but secretly, they were impressed. Then came the Industrial Revolution, and everything changed. Men traded heels for steel-toed boots. You can't operate a steam engine or swing a hammer in 10 centimeters heels. Meanwhile, women kept evolving their heels. They became symbols of femininity, of grace, of occasions where you didn't need to work, just shine. By the 1900s, the switch was complete. Heels were women's fashion. A man in heels? Suddenly, that was weird. How's that for a plot twist? So, the next time you slip on a pair of heels, whether they're sky-high stilettos or chunky block heels, remember what you're really wearing. A piece of military history, a royal power play, and a centuries-old rebellion against what's supposed to be. Heels have been on soldiers, kings, rebels, and trendsetters. And now, they're on you. Pretty cool, right? What everyday item do you think has a secret history? A coffee mug? A pair of jeans? Drop your guess in the comments, I might just cover it next time. And if you loved this wild ride through heel history, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more weird, wonderful stories coming your way. See you next time!